Hey guys, and welcome to the second of my resin tips and tricks video. In the previous tips and tricks video, I talked about how to mix resin properly, getting rid of bubbles, the effects of temperature on resin, dealing with puffy or floating stickers, and sealing paper or paper stickers. So if you want to hear about that, check the previous video, which will be linked in the description. So let's just get started with this video. So some of you guys were having problems with doing backgrounds. You were saying that your glitter was falling to the front of the resin piece. If you're doing a single layer of resin for your resin piece, i.e. you're putting the sticker in and then you're putting in the glitter afterwards, wait an hour or 2 hours before adding your glitter. That will mean that the resin will be tacky, and then when you add the glitter it shouldn't fall to the bottom of the piece. Also, don't add too much glitter because that will weigh it down and that will push it to the front of the piece as well. So just sprinkle it in very nicely with your fingers, just sprinkle it in very lightly, and then when you dome the back, or if you do a background, it will cover up any blank areas or any bold gaps, if that makes any sense. I personally prefer doing 2 layers. I have my resin tutorial on that, so if you want to see how I do that in more detail, go check that out. All of the videos and things I mentioned will be linked in the description. So I do a clear layer which has the sticker and any confetti or cellophane or any sparkly bits that I want to use in that layer as well. Once that is cured for 24 hours, then I add another layer with glitter and pearl powders and inks and things like that. So refer to my resin tutorial for more information about that. Okay, so colouring resin, there is many ways you can colour resin. The easiest way, and the way most people do it, is with glitter. A fine glitter will colour the resin more, so if you add a bunch of fine glitter to your resin when mixing, like after you've mixed it, you mix in some glitter, and that will make the resin all one colour of glitter, and it will be nice and sparkly, and it will give a good colour. You can also use inks. I have one ink, which is a white ink, that's this Higgins waterproof pigment ink. I don't know whether it needs to be waterproof. I assume it would. I don't really know very much about using inks and resin. This is the only one I've used and it works really well. I bought this from eBay. I believe you can get it from craft shops as well. And I heard about this from Miss Trinity 143, I think. So yeah, this is what I use in resin. So what I like to do is I like to mix a couple of drops of the ink into my resin, then add in some fine glitter, and it makes a nice pastel colour, or it makes it nice opaque, and it's good for resin. You can use pearl powders, also known as mica powders. You can buy these online or in craft shops. You can use eyeshadow, like powdered eyeshadow. You can use any other powder pigments that you can get a hold of. Things like embossing powders that are used for card making and paper crafts can be used as well. You can also use chalk pastels, so if you use your blade you can shave off some chalk pastels. Just make sure you shave it finely and mix it in properly, and don't get any big lumps of chalk pastel in there. You can also use paint. A little tiny bit of acrylic paint will work, but I have not used acrylic paint in resin before. I've heard if you add too much, the resin will not cure properly and will be very bendy. I have never used it because it's always been too much of a risk for me, and I just use the white ink if I need to make a white colour or something. Don't ever use nail polish. That is something I can definitely tell you not to do. I have used nail polish in the past and it makes the pieces yellow. Basically it turns the resin yellow and it just doesn't work at all, so don't use that. So mixing your powders and pigments properly, it doesn't always work for me. You can sometimes see bits of powder and things that haven't been mixed in the resin properly, so take this advice with a pinch of salt, and just know that I still don't do it perfectly, but I don't mind. Imperfections don't bother me that much with pearl powders and things. So all I can suggest is just mix a lot and mix it for a while, and then make sure it's mixed. Look on the bottom of your cup when you're mixing. Using a clear cup helps. Just look all around the cup to see if there's any lumps of pigment left. Don't add too much of the pigment at once either. Add a little bit at a time so you can measure out how much colour you need, and also so you don't add too much powder that it won't mix in. Okay, so the next topic is all about keeping clean. So keeping your resin containers clean, you can just use baby wipes, or I use makeup wipes, just to wipe the bottles once you've poured the resin out. That's pretty simple. If you get resin on your skin, you can just wipe it off with the same kind of wipes, or you can just wash it off with soap and water. Of course, if you're really worried about resin getting on your skin, you can wear gloves. And I know I don't wear gloves, and many people have said, oh my god, you should wear gloves, please be safe. And I know you're wanting to look out for me, but honestly what I do is up to me, and if I don't use gloves, then I don't use gloves. Basically, that's just me. If you're worried about it, you can wear gloves. I'm not saying you shouldn't. You should. I do as I say, just not as I do, basically. So yeah, don't complain when I don't wear gloves, because it's just, you know, I've never had a problem. And I am very careful when pouring resin, and chances of me getting resin on me is very low, and I always wipe it off straight away, and I'm very safe and all of that jazz. Just, you know, if you are worried, wear gloves. If you have sensitive skin, if you're allergic to it, if you've touched it before and had a bad reaction, wear gloves. You know, be safe if you want to, but you know, that's just that. That's my little rant about that. Resin in hair, I mentioned this because it did happen on a live stream once. I wasn't paying attention, I leant over and I got resin in my fringe. That was awkward, especially on a live stream. I had to wash it off in the sink straight away before it went sticky and got cured or anything like that. So I just washed it with shampoo in the sink. You can go in the shower if you want to. It's fine. Just wash it off. It's fine. It's not as bad as you might think it is. As for cleaning measuring cups, I don't. The cups I use are just these shot glasses. These ones have bits of resin in. I need to throw these out actually because I've used them a couple of times. I just use these because they're disposable. I don't bother cleaning them out. I don't know how to clean them out, so I don't, basically. I can't really give much of a help on that. But mixing cups, I mentioned this in the first video. Using the clear plastic ones with PP on the bottom means you can just pull out the resin once it is cured, and you can reuse them a few times as well. And the last topic I'm going to talk about in this video is adding eye screws. I have a video all about adding eye screws, but that is doing it a manual way, which means that you get some pliers and you screw in the eye screw by hand. If you're going to do it that way, then I would suggest twisting the resin piece rather than twisting the eye screw so it doesn't break. And make sure you do it soon after popping out your resin pieces when the resin is nice and soft, so it's easier to screw it in. Keep it straight when you're screwing it in, don't bend it, don't put it at a diagonal if you can help it. Otherwise that will break them, and it will also mean that they're not in very straight. And always take them back out and glue them in once you have got them in as well. What I actually use now is this little mini hand drill. This is from littlewindows.com. I will leave the website in the description. So basically all you do is you hold it like this, and then you just twist it into your resin piece, twist it back out, keeping it straight, and then just put in your eye screw. Take out the eye screw, put some glue on it, and then put it back in, just to make sure it'll fit inside. So this is what I use to put in eye screws now, but you can still do it the manual way, and like I say, you can refer to my video on that if you want to know how to do that. So that was that from this resin tips and tricks video, so I will put the topics I'm going to be talking about in the next video in the description box. But if you have any other suggestions for topics that I should talk about for this, anything that you're having difficulty with that I haven't talked about in this video or in the previous video, so make sure you watch those so you know what I've already talked about. If you have any other suggestions, then leave them in the comments. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope it's not too boring for you. I have one more video left to do unless you guys have other topics for me to talk about. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!